Welcome to the Heidi Healing Show, where we explore the most effective healing practices. I'm Heidi Nordlund, certified Ayurvedic doctor and yoga therapist, medical intuitive, and spiritual healer. And today we are exploring a healing practice that is very dear to me because it helps me to free myself from the dreadful repeating patterns, energy patterns of the shame and the blame and the guilt and the betrayal energy and the jealousy and the fears and all the worries. And it's so common for so many people to be in therapy for many years in order to shift into a healthier mindset. Let's first take a look at why these dreadful repeating patterns can be so difficult to change. Go ahead and imagine your mind as a beautiful garden. Imagine your mind as a beautiful garden. Every thought, every experience, every emotion is like a seed that is planted in this garden in your mind. And some of these seeds, they grow into beautiful flowers. But a lot of other seeds, they turn into stubborn weeds. So imagine your mind right now as this garden that's filled with the seeds of all kinds of flowers and weeds. In the world of yoga and spirituality, these seeds, they are called samskara. Samskara. Samskara, they are these mental and emotional imprints that are left over by our past experiences. What are samskara? They're mental and emotional imprints that are left over from our past experiences. And they are the memories, the impressions of everything that we've gone through. Everything we've gone through, on both good and bad, all of it. Just like when you're walking on the beach, the footprint that is left in the sand from your foot. So our thoughts and all our experiences, they leave these marks in our mind. And when we experience something, especially if it's traumatic or really intense, then it can leave a deep samskara within us, deep samskara within our mind. And these samskara, these mental recollections, they can be positive and they can be negative. And over time, these samskara, they shape how we think and how we feel and how we react to the world around us. So a way to think about the samskara is that it's the emotional baggage that we all carry around with us. And some of it is light and pleasant, reminding us of happy times. And some of these samskara, they're very heavy and very painful, such as the memories of past traumas, emotional wounding. And the heavy samskara, they affect our mental and emotional well-being. And they cause stress and anxiety, depression, disease, or other challenges in life. So gaining insight into these samskara can help to see why we're stuck in a certain pattern, or why some thought forms or emotions, they keep coming back and repeating themselves, causing trouble in our life, limiting us. And by recognizing these imprints, these samskara, we can begin to heal. And we can begin to let go of the negative ones, allowing us to grow and flourish like a well-tended garden, blooming like the favorite flowers in your garden. So what are the samskara? They are mental and emotional imprints left by our past experiences, the memories of unresolved experiences from the past. And they shape our thoughts and feelings and how we react. And by becoming aware, we can work towards healing and create a more peaceful and joyful mind that is conducive to happiness and the success that we desire. So now healing these samskara, these deep mental and emotional imprints, can take a really long time. A really long time. Years, decades, lifetimes. Many lifetimes. Usually it does. So you can imagine lots of patience and self-awareness and dedication and sincere spiritual practice is required to free ourselves from the depth of these samskara. Hours and hours of daily meditation, breath work, years of therapy. That's the common way of working through the samskara. And all of these practices, they work. They work, but very slowly. They take a very long time. And let me ask you, do you have 5-10 hours a day to meditate? Do you have 5-10 hours daily to sit, practicing breathing practices, meditating, processing in that regard? And even if you did, would you do it? Would you do it? Would you take the time, 5-10 hours a day or more, that it requires to get to the depth, to the very root of the samskara, to free yourself? Probably not, right? Most people won't do it. Today in our modern world, there is so much to do. There are very few yogis that do this path nowadays. So we're calling in other healing practices. So even though you probably wouldn't sit for meditation and breath work 5-10 hours a day, you still want to experience the peace of mind and the joy and the success of life, right? And it's possible. It's possible to free yourself from the blame game and the shames and the blaming and the worries and the fears and the jealousy. You want to be free from that, right? Who wants to keep repeating all of these patterns that are limiting and sabotaging and causing us problems in life? All fear, everything we're afraid of, everything. Phobias, all fears, all worries, they are caused by these samskara. So now go ahead and imagine, just close your eyes if it's safe for you to do so, and imagine how great it would feel, how amazing it would feel if you are free from the fears and the worries, free from guilt, free from jealousy and comparing yourself to others, free from the shame, free from the blame and the guilt, free from all the limitations that all of these negative thought forms they cause. Wouldn't you just feel so good about yourself? You'd be so happy to be alive, right? You'd be so excited about life and live in wonder about all the magic that's going on. It's such a wonderful way of living life in this way. And I want it for you. I want it for you. I want everyone to experience that freedom. It's so good. So how to get there? How to get there? The first step is to recognize that there are thought patterns in the mind that are going on, and that you would be happier without these thought patterns. So pay attention to recurring thoughts that show up. Pay attention to recurring emotions. Pay attention to the patterns that show up in your behavior, because these are the samskara. What are your thoughts and emotions that keep coming back to you? Thoughts that won't go away. What are you perhaps ashamed of? What do you perhaps feel guilty of? Are you blaming someone? Blaming someone for what they perhaps did in the past to you? Are you blaming yourself for something you did, mistakes? Or are you being blamed by others? What kinds of fears or worries are you experiencing? Perhaps you are remembering mistakes that your parents made or your family. Or perhaps you don't want to be like your family. Or perhaps you have fear of relationship or commitments, or perhaps there are concerns or worries about health or money, or fear of specific animals, bugs, insects, snakes. Perhaps there is a fear of heights. Perhaps there is a fear of water. These fears and thought forms are all samskara, and they are caused because of hidden memories within your unconscious mind. And according to Freud, the Freudian theory, we have 3 layers in our mind, 3 layers of awareness. How many? 1, 2, 3. What are they? If you've studied psychology or psychotherapy, you probably know we have the conscious part of our mind, which usually accounts for about 5 to 10%. Only 5 to 10%, our conscious mind. Whoa, 5 to 10% is our conscious mind. And that's our thoughts and our memories and our feelings and wishes, which are we can access at any given moment. We're aware of them at any moment. This is the aspect of our mind that causes us to think and talk rationally about things. This is also the part of our memory that can be retrieved easily. It can easily be brought into awareness. So the conscious mind is the top of the iceberg. Have you seen that picture of the iceberg where the top is the conscious mind? 5-10%. So think about an iceberg. You can only see the top, right? The very tip top. But the greater part of the iceberg, where is it? It's hidden under the water. It's huge under the water, right? And if you think of your mind and your awareness as the iceberg, then this very tip is just this 5-10%, and the greater part underneath makes up the remaining 90 to 95%. Wow. So Freud referred to this hidden part of the iceberg as 2 different levels. The middle part he called the preconscious mind. It's also called the subconscious mind, preconscious or subconscious. And that's the layer that consists of anything that is about to be brought into the conscious mind. And then the deepest layer he called the unconscious mind. And this is where all the feelings and thoughts and urges and memories are stored that are outside of conscious awareness. Deeply, deeply hidden. Deeply, deeply hidden down there. So the unconscious mind contains content that is unacceptable to us. So unpleasant, unacceptable that it's deeply hidden within ourselves. Such as all the severe trauma and the fears and the pain and the anxiety and the rage and the hatred and the most horrific, horrible memories you can possibly imagine. And in yoga meditation, we also view a person with 3 layers that align with Freud's theory. The gross or the physical body that contains the conscious mind, the astral body, which includes the preconscious or the subconscious mind, and the causal body, where the unconscious mind is hidden. The unconscious is where the Akashic records, which are also called the karmic records, are stored. And the samskara, the mental and emotional imprints left by our past experiences, are hidden within the deeper two layers, preconscious or subconscious mind and the unconscious mind. It's a lot of information. Go ahead and take some long, deep breaths. You can shake your body a little bit. Stand up and shake yourself a little bit. Whenever we take in a lot of information, then it's good to do something to center ourselves again. Good. So now take a moment to acknowledge that all of negative thought forms, all of negative feelings, all of negative emotions in your life, the fears and the worries and the blame and the shame and the guilt, are all samskara. They're imprints from your past, and they are influencing the present and how you're currently working in this life, experiencing the world. So when you meditate and when you breathe consciously, when you practice breath work, you do become more aware of these samskara. And if meditation is challenging, a lot of people come to me, and when they start meditating, they're like, oh no, meditation is not for me. It makes me crazy. I can't meditate. And if that has happened to you, or if it's happening to you now, it's because a lot of samskara are activated and they cause you to feel all of this craziness going on when you pride yourself. Or if you smoke or drink or suffer from eating disorders or serious diseases, or if you have continuous misfortune in life, or if you feel unlucky most of the time, like things just don't work out for you, it is because of these hidden samskara, and they will keep surfacing. They will keep surfacing from the depth of the iceberg, like the weeds that keep growing. They just won't stop until they are resolved, until they're rooted out at the very root. These mental and emotional imprints, you can call them unhealed karma or unhealed trauma, they won't stop interfering with a life until they're dealt with. They won't stop interfering with our life until they're processed and healed and resolved and dissolved. Breathe that in. Breathe it out. Fortunately, there are many ways to do this. And one is the meditation, and another one is the breath work. And these methods work, but they take long time. The good news is that when you practice mindfulness and meditation and breath work, you become better at observing your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions without judgment. Observing your thoughts, feelings, and emotions without judgment is so important. The judgment that the conscious mind likes to make is something very important to work with, because when you can witness a certain thought or feeling or emotion within you without judgment, it will help to bring calmness in your mind. And it brings the buried samskara up to the surface so you can heal it. Okay, now go and get a pen and a piece of paper. Get a pen and paper. And if you don't have any right now, you can always come back and do this exercise later. We're going to do a little life review together. So take a moment to reflect on some of your past experiences. What has happened in the past? Is there something that makes you really angry or really sad? Something that has caused you pain? Trauma, abuse, loss? How have these experiences and situations shaped your current mindset? Go ahead and take a moment to write down your feelings. What are some triggers What triggers you? What is it that people can say that really frustrates you or ticks you off? There are specific ways in which you tend to react, and these are the patterns that show up in your behavior, right? There are these patterns. If you get emotionally challenged, do you find yourself fighting back, or do you shut down and cry and get depressed? How do you react? How do you react when you're troubled? The first step to healing these samskara is to become aware of your thought forms and the emotional patterns. The first step to change anything in your mindset and in your life is to become aware of your thought forms and your patterns. Then, once you become aware, then it is really important that you find some healing work and a healer that you resonate with, that can help you to safely get in touch with the samskara deeply hidden within your iceberg. Because once you become aware of the troubling thoughts and patterns, it's very important to start the healing right away. Otherwise, the samskara become this greater limitation and greater blockage, because it starts moving up into your conscious mind. You start becoming aware of it, right? You start seeing it. It's like, whoa, the beast is up close, and now it's super scary, and now it's super powerful. And therapeutic practices like the counseling and psychotherapy will help to loosen up the samskara, but often the talk therapies, they will reactivate the samskara instead of getting to the root of it and resolving it and dissolving it. And energy healing is wonderful. I practice a lot of energy healing, both on myself and with anybody I work with. And channeling, energy healing, everybody has the gift to do so. It just is a matter of activating it and calling it in and start downloading it. And it can help by bringing relief and help making it easier to process the samskara and to integrate the changes that come from resolving the samskara. When you start dissolving the samskara within your iceberg, lots of change starts happening in your life. And it doesn't always appear to be good or for your greatest good, because all of it gets stirred up. It's like the mud in a glass of water. When it sits for a long time, it's pure on the top. But then when you start stirring it up, oh, the purification process can appear much worse even. So that's where energy healing can come in and help purify it and make it easier to integrate these changes from working into the root of the samskara. There are also certain yoga poses and a lot of breathing techniques that target the specific areas in the body where the samskara are held. And these yoga techniques can help loosen the grip and the hook that the samskara have in a person. The areas where the samskara are held in the body are very often, most often, usually, the areas of chronic pain and disease. Hear that. Where samskara show up in the body are usually the cause of disease and chronic pain. I know this because I've personally experienced it. I've experienced the truth of this, and I witness it all the time in the people that I work with. There is almost always this deeper seated mental and emotional memory of some past trauma, and it's causing the health issues. And it's causing the disease, and it's causing the pain. So, is it possible to resolve these many memories and blockages of past trauma? Is it possible to free ourselves from all these many samskara and melt the iceberg of the subconscious and the unconscious layers of the unhealed suffering? And the answer is yes. Yes. It just can seem really overwhelming, and as if the samskara are this endless work. But the answer is yes. It is possible to free ourselves in this lifetime. And when a person is ready to free themselves in this lifetime, the practices and the ways to do it come forth. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. This is what happened to me in 2013. I had been for many years, like 15 years to be exact, prayed very intensely. Every single day for hours, I would pray. And I would wish to free myself. I meditated, I practiced breathing practices hours a day. I've spent years in psychotherapy. I went from one healer to another. I followed all the guidelines in Ayurveda, but nothing got to the very root of the many resistant samskara within my iceberg. All these deep-seated patterns of the shame and the blame and feeling guilty and feeling stuck in the jealousy. Ooh, I was a jealous person. Stuck in comparing myself to everybody. I was stuck in the fear and the worries, and nothing helped. Nothing helped until I learned how to activate, and until I started activating my unique healing abilities, calling in, downloading, channeling my unique healing abilities. And I started addressing and accessing these samskara directly. And I started gaining insight into these deep hidden root causes of the samskara. Part of this work has to do with deepening self-love. Deepening self-love and opening the spiritual heart. So sincere forgiveness can take place. Sincere forgiveness. The powerful energy of unconditional love and forgiveness can resolve and dissolve the impossible. The impossible. Especially when a person has fully opened up to the samskara and has released the grip and the hook that the samskara have in the person. This is spiritual healing. This is spiritual healing. And it's powerful. And when somebody is willing to process into that iceberg of the deeper layers within that unconscious mind within us, remarkable healing is possible. So now go ahead and bring your hands to your heart and bow to yourself. Extend some loving thoughts to yourself. I love you. Say your name. Love you. Extend some love, unconditional love towards yourself. And then think of somebody that you're holding a grudge towards. Somebody that's impossible to forgive. It can be yourself. It can be your mom or dad or sibling or spouse, kids, anyone in the world. Bring somebody to mind. And now repeat after me, saying out loud to make your words more powerful. Say it out loud. Sincerely, I am worthy of forgiveness. I'm worthy of forgiveness. I am worthy of forgiveness. I am worthy of forgiveness. Just feel what comes up for you. And now, say out loud, I choose to forgive myself. Say it sincerely, with great affection for yourself. Honestly, I choose now to forgive myself more. And if you have already practiced a lot of forgiveness and you feel, oh, I'm done with that, I've done days and weeks and months of forgiveness. I am done with that. Let me share one thing with you. I have done months in the last 10 years, sincerely, honestly forgiving myself and everybody and the whole world. There is still more. I still forgive every single day. Every day. So accept that the iceberg is that great. Accept that there is so much to melt and process and dissolve and resolve. I forgive. I completely forgive me. Repeat the words out loud. And whether you feel it or not, there really is a lot to forgive. And it becomes more known when you access the samskara directly in a state of high vibration, in a state of high energy frequency. Then it becomes possible to access these deep, deep, deep samskara. Now, go ahead and choose to forgive somebody else. Say it out loud. I forgive you. Picture them in your mind. I forgive you now. I want to free myself, so I choose to forgive you. I forgive you. I especially forgive you. Who is it that you need to forgive? Yeah, sometimes it's easier to forgive others. Sometimes it's easier, right, to forgive others than it is to forgive yourself. But sometimes it's the other way around. So whatever it is for you today, just honor that. And just go with the flow of where you feel compelled and moved to forgive. Maybe it is forgiving yourself or forgiving others that's more important to you right now. And make a point to practice forgiveness every single day. When you're in the shower, when you're sitting on the toilet, when you're driving, when you're out walking, when you're cooking, when you're eating, when you're talking to somebody, forgive them, forgive yourself. And practicing forgiveness a few hours daily is very helpful to help heal the samskara. But if you feel ready and want to resolve these unhealed mental and emotional patterns and blockages, these samskara, sooner than later, then go ahead and schedule a free call with me to get started. Just go to my website, HeidiHealing.com, HeidiHealingLikeThisShow.com, and then click Get Started Now, and it will take you to my calendar where you can schedule the free call with me. I want to get you started today. I want to get you started with activating your healing abilities so you can start downloading and channeling your unique healing gifts. And I have created a 75-minute soul renewal healing activation. It's a video, and I guide you through an activation of 5 steps that will help you to access the samskara within your unconscious mind. It's very effective. And the cost is usually $298, but I'm going to give you a discount of $250. So you can start today. Start changing your life for only $48. Just go to my shop, go to my website, HeidiHealing.com, click on the shop, and scroll down to the Soul Renewal Healing Activation, and then use the coupon code Healing Activation 250 off. What is the code? Healing Activation 250 off. I'd love to hear from you about your change, your transformation. So feel free to reach out. Let me know how it's going for you. What comes up for you in your life? What are you ready to free yourself from? What are you ready to clear? I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Heidi Nordlund, and I look forward to seeing you next week, where we are going to explore more healing practices. Remember always, It's never too late to heal at all levels. You are so loved, and when you're ready, the practices will occur. Namaste.